What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. In this video today, I'm talking about Jamie Lee Curtis and her statement about resurrecting Laurie Strode in the Halloween franchise. Now, a couple of days ago, I was scrolling on Twitter and I came across this news article link talking about this subject, and this media news outlet reached out to Jamie Lee Curtis and asked her if she would ever be interested in coming back as Laurie Strode. And Jamie Lee Curtis gave a very simple response. There were a few sentences before what I'm about to say. Unfortunately, I don't have the link in front of me to give you a direct quote, but pretty much Jamie Lee Curtis gave the ultimate tease, which is never say never. That's something that she's learned in all of her years of being in Hollywood, to never say never to anything. So that is a little bit of a tease and leaving the door open for a possible return of her character of Laurie Strode. Now, is this something that the Halloween franchise should do moving forward? Is this something the fan base wants? Personally, for myself, no. I do not want Jamie Lee Curtis returning as Laurie Strode because I feel like we've been following this iconic character for over 40 years. It's time to put her to bed because I feel like with the resurrection of the Halloween franchise, because ultimately we know it's going to happen, probably in a few years we'll get a movie announcement or probably a TV series. That could be fun. And then maybe within 5 to 10 years, we will get that first movie or television show, whichever direction they decide to go in. And I feel like if we're going to start kind of fresh with the Halloween franchise, why are we going to bring back Laurie Strode? It just really does not make sense because at the end of Halloween Ends, Laurie killed Michael. Laurie killed Michael. She ground him up in that grinder, in that junkyard, and she was at peace at the end of that movie and probably going to form a relationship with Hawkins, and Allison was leaving Haddonfield and she was going to start her brand new life. That really just ended everything for that storyline, for her arc, for her family, everything. So in my opinion, why on earth, if we're going to move forward eventually, why are we going to crack open that door again? Because if we do that, obviously we're going to have to create another different timeline because Michael is no longer around because of what Laurie did to him at the end of Halloween Ends. So we would have yet again another separate timeline, and everything I think would just be so gosh darn confusing. I don't want it. And I know I'm not the only one that thinks like this. I know there's a lot of other huge fans of this franchise that feel the exact same way. It's time to cut the cord. Let's move on from Laurie Strode. Let's explore other storylines, other people, just anything else other than Laurie Strode. So what are a couple of possible other ideas that the franchise could be exploring? Well, my first thought when Halloween Ends was done and I was thinking about where the future of the franchise could go, my automatic first thought was bring back Danielle Harris as the character of Jamie Lloyd from Halloween 4 and 5. Because first of all, she's a character that we're already familiar with. We care about her, especially because in those movies, she was a little girl. Obviously, now she's grown up, but we're attached to her. We know her as a character. We're familiar with her. So it wouldn't be a complete stranger that we're trying to bond with as a character because the fan base is already built in and we know her. And it just seems kind of obvious to me. So that was my first thought about bringing back Danielle Harris. Plus, you know, the way she was treated in Halloween 6, she was not brought back for that. She deserves this. She really, really does, because she was a very important piece of the earlier Halloween movies. And I feel like it's just right to bring her back into the fold. So bringing back the character of Jamie Lloyd and having Michael come back, obviously Jamie Lloyd is from a different timeline than Halloween Ends. So Michael is alive in Jamie Lloyd's timeline. So that could easily be done. Now, another option could be bringing back Josh Hartnett, because Josh Hartnett did get his start in movies in Halloween H2O, playing the son of Jamie Lee Curtis in a completely different timeline, yet again, different from Jamie Lloyd or Danielle Harris. So technically, they are not really related because they are from different timelines, but I'm going to try to do something creative in option 3 in just a second. But bringing back Josh Hartnett, possibly he is having a resurgence of his career right now, and maybe going back to his roots of where he got started could be a possibility. You never know. The fan base is there. We care about him. We're familiar with him. So the same goes for him as for Danielle Harris. Now, option number 3, I thought of a couple of days ago, and this is where we're kind of mixing up timelines and everything. But what if we got really creative and we just made this completely different timeline where Danielle Harris and Josh Hartnett actually are brother and sister, and they come together in this first Halloween movie because Laurie Strode has passed away. Maybe they are estranged siblings, possibly, you never know. Maybe they haven't had contact in a few years, but their mother has passed on. If that occurred, if we did have the death of Laurie Strode, then that would cement that she is dead and gone. They come to have the funeral to grieve their mother. Maybe around Halloween time it occurs. And then, up pops Michael. You never know. Like I said, it would take some work to figure it out because they are from different timelines. But you know what? It's the Halloween franchise. They always, they always stretch what's possible. You got to use your imagination and you have to reach for the stars. So my suggestion just really isn't completely out of the question. I'm sure if we got some creative writing team, possibly we can make it happen. But option number 4 would be to go in a completely opposite and different direction, possibly just reboot Halloween completely and start over from scratch, get really crazy and just wipe out everything, or continue on from a timeline that we know, just bringing forth different characters. Maybe we get a brand new final girl that we get to follow now. I don't know. The possibilities are endless. We really could work with different scenarios. But Laurie Strode is not the be-all and end-all of the Halloween franchise, because I feel like the franchise can move on and live on without Laurie Strode. So ultimately, at the end of the day, I'm just hoping that Jamie Lee Curtis, no matter how much money is thrown at her, she does the right thing and she just walks away, because you know what's going to happen. Because she said never say never, I feel like that's kind of an invitation for anyone that goes forth with the franchise to throw buckets of money at her and to try to get her to come back. And I just feel like that would be doing a disservice to the franchise, because we're ready to move on. Halloween Ends was the closeout of Laurie Strode's storyline. It is time to move on to something else. Comment down below and let me know your thoughts about this entire topic. Do you agree with me? What other storylines do you think we could explore with Michael Myers? Don't forget to like and subscribe before you leave, and I'll see you next time.